Hey guys, welcome back to another video with Lim Reviews. In today's video, I'm super excited to share with you my experience with the Amazfit Bip U. So this is a brand new device from Amazfit, a pretty affordable smartwatch here. And I got to say thanks again to Dasher for sending this in for me to review. This actually costs RM 219 here in Malaysia, and that translates to about $50 from wherever you are in the world. Alright, so based on pricing wise, obviously different countries will come with different pricing, but if you're in Malaysia, this device, like I said, is already available for sale, and you can check them out in the links below from Dasher. Alright, so let's just jump into this watch straight away because I've been using this and there's a lot of features that I actually like about this Amazfit Bip U. So as you can see here, I've got the watch already set up and I've been using it for the past 3 days. And this is how you would expect the Amazfit Bip U to come out if you're thinking of buying this device. So first up, let's talk a little bit about that build quality. So we can see here that everything here is pretty much made of plastics. We do have a very nice display at the front here that is slightly curved. More on that later. So at the sides here, you also notice that everything is also in plastics, and we do have a very slim strap here that is actually pretty comfortable to put on, especially when you're wearing this at night to sleep. Alright, so one thing you need to take note of is that this strap is also very easy to swap out for other straps. We do have these tiny latches at the back here that makes it super easy to change for other straps if you just like a touch of customization there. So build quality wise, I don't have any issues with the Amazfit Bip U. It just feels like any other smartwatch, especially at the price that it's asking for. I have not much to complain about here. Alright, next I want to talk a little bit about that display. So we do have a nice display right here. This is slightly different from the previous Amazfit Bip watches where the display was sort of the transflective kind of display where it's actually able to have always on. So right now we actually have an LCD display right here, and it may be a good or bad thing depending on how you see it. So for myself, I kind of like this display because it comes with these very nice colors on the display itself. We do have some pretty deep blacks. In fact, it looks very similar to an AMOLED panel, and I'm just going to bring this side to side with my Amazfit GTS2 right here. So you can see that it is slightly smaller in terms of display size, but if you look about the colors and the viewing angles, it's actually pretty good for a device at this price point. So very good stuff from Amazfit here on the Bip U. I pretty like it. You notice that you do have a slight chin at the bottom that comes with the Amazfit branding at the bottom, and I don't really like that. Obviously, I hope that it was better, but even like I said, when just looking at this watch itself, it does look pretty good to me. One more thing I need to mention here is the watch faces. So we have a lot of watch faces supported on this watch right here. Internally, you can see that we have a couple of built-in watch faces. You're actually able to save about 2 custom faces in the watch itself, and there's another 2 more local kind of faces here. So the good news here is that, let me just zoom in a little bit more. Notice that you can actually customize the watch face and put in widgets that you like on the display itself. For example, I'm just going to tap this customize button, and notice that I can change like a couple of stuff here just to make it more personal and suit my kind of information that I need on the display itself. So there's a lot of customizations that you can do here. You can just go through them one by one and actually adjust everything on the watch face itself. So very useful stuff here on the Amazfit Bip U. Alright, the bad news about this display here is that it doesn't come with an always on display function. So those of you guys who really like those kind of always on, for example, something like this. This is an always on display right here. Let me just show it to you very quickly. Okay, there you go. So if you're looking for an always on display, it doesn't come on the Amazfit Bip U. Most of the time, you will have to rely on the display actually lighting up to be able to see the display. Alright, so that's it for the display. Overall, I'm still very happy with this display because it's a very nice, bright and colorful display. Moving on, I want to talk a little bit about that notifications. So if you just swipe up from the bottom here, you actually be able to get into your notifications. And notice that the text here is actually very clear. You do have a tiny icon of the app itself. For example, this is from Facebook, and if you go down, this is from Telegram, and then the good news here is that you can actually see emojis on the watch itself. So that's pretty good. Previously, in the previous Amazfit watches, you were not able to see any emojis at all, but in this one, you are able to see a couple of emojis, not all, but a couple of them displayed on the watch itself. So that's good in terms of notifications. One thing you need to take note of is that this watch only gives you notifications in such that you can see your messages for your apps and of course your caller ID. You cannot actually make calls on the watch itself, and you cannot respond to messages on the watch itself as well. This is just showing you what's coming into your smartphone, but if you want to do any replies or any replies to your notifications or your messages, you will have to do it in your smartphone itself. So bear in mind, it just shows you your notifications. Alright, so that's done for notifications. So moving down the list, let's talk a little bit about what kind of health tracking capabilities the watch comes with. So the Amazfit Bip U comes with a lot of health tracking capabilities. And let's start off with the heart rate tracking. So obviously, like all smartwatches, we do have heart rate tracking on the Amazfit Bip U, and you can see that there's a lot of information being shown on the display itself. I really like this new UI coming from Amazfit. It is really good and shows a lot of info. Apart from that, we also have Of course, you still have your PAI tracking, which basically tells you how much activities you've been doing per day. Moving on from that, of course, we are able to track your sleep as well. And of course, you can track your stress levels. Alright, so let me just show it to you very quickly. If I go into the main menu, notice that I can check out my sleep here. So last night, I had 6 hours and 52 minutes of sleep, and it shows what time I fell asleep and what time I got up. So a lot of information here. That's pretty good seeing on the display itself. Moving back, we also have your SpO2 settings. So I was able to track my blood oxygen levels, and I was getting 86%. So I can't really vouch for the tracking accuracy of the SpO2 right here because I've tried my other watches, and sometimes I do get 99%, sometimes I get 95%, but on here I'm getting 86%. So just take it with a pinch of salt. The good news here is that you can still track this, but whether or not it's accurate, please don't quote me on that. So apart from your SpO2, we also have your stress tracking, and notice that, like I said earlier on, we do have a lot of information on the display itself. And yeah, you can basically see how stressful you are throughout the entire day. And of course, you have your brief exercise that you have here. So a lot of stuff here on the watch itself. Like I said, just to sum it up, you have your heart rate tracking, you have your sleep tracking, you also have your stress and your SpO2 tracking. So definitely a lot of features on this Amazfit Bip U that you don't find on the previous Amazfit Bip devices. Alright, now let's talk a bit about that activity tracking. What kind of sports are actually tracked with the Amazfit Bip U? So let's check it out. If you just long press the button right here, you actually go into your shortcut key. And notice that we do have a lot of activities here, guys. So Amazfit is saying that this watch is capable of tracking up to 60 different activities. So once again, just to be very clear with you guys, if you just hit the More Sports button, you'll be able to see what kind of activities it actually tracks. But notice that in certain activities, even though it says like there's so many different kinds of activities, it actually tracks the same thing. Like more or less, they track your pace, the amount of time, your heart rate, and all that. So don't really be fooled into thinking that it really tracks 60 different kinds of activities. Most of the time, it just tells you your heart rate, your pace once more, and just some basic stuff here, but it looks like it tracks a lot. So the good news here, if I want to summarize what it actually tracks, I would say that it tracks your walks. Definitely can track your amount of steps being walked. It can also track your pace, and of course tracks your swimming as well, and cycling. So this is the kind of basic stuff that it will track on the Amazfit Bip U. Alright, another point to point out here is that this watch doesn't come with GPS built in, so you will definitely have to rely on your smartphone beside you to actually get any location data or any pace information from your smartphone. So please bear in mind, it doesn't come with GPS. There is an Amazfit Bip U Pro version that is not released yet that actually comes with a GPS built in, but I don't have that yet. This is the non-Pro version, so no GPS here. Alright, so before I end, I just want to talk a little bit more about the other functions that you can get from the watch. Obviously, we still have our music controls. So if you have any songs playing on your smartphone right now, you'll be able to control the next previous song or your volume control. You can also do a countdown, your stopwatch, and of course, you also have your camera remote right here. So what this means is you can use this camera remote here to actually control your selfies or whatnot on your smartphone itself. So pretty cool. It's a pretty feature-packed smartwatch, this Amazfit Bip U. Last but not least, guys, I want to talk a bit about the battery life because that's pretty important for any smartwatch. So Amazfit is touting this to be able to last for 9 days. But based on my usage, it's actually been pretty good. I've got like 2 days in already, and my battery life here is 67%. So based on this rate, I'm expecting to get about 6 days, maybe even 7 days. I would say 1 week on this with just a single charge seems to be possible with the Amazfit Bip U. Definitely, I'll be testing it out more so I can share my results with you guys. But yeah, this is the Amazfit Bip U, guys. Pretty much covered everything that you might need to know. It comes with a great price, a lot of features. The only thing missing, I would say right here, is 2 items, and that is the GPS and of course the lack of an always-on display. You don't get that here, but yeah, so still a very cool smartwatch at a very affordable price point. Alright, that's it for this video, guys. If you have any questions, don't forget to leave them down below. And if you like this video, if you found it helpful or useful, don't forget to hit that like button. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!